we can just be so much better. And it's the media as well, like the demonizing of certain footballers and everything. And it's like, listen, this guy has a family. Like, you're around all this stuff. His family has to read that. Like, it's out there for no reason as well.
Yeah. How do you think footballers can become closer to the fans?
One of the things I've seen in the NBA or like American sports is players creating their own channels, innit? Like just like even like stuff you're doing, like content, but it doesn't have to be like speaking on podcasts. I've seen footballers and random people just start e-gaming, so you're closer to the fans.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think it's refreshing is because it kind of takes you away from that sphere of football and talk about football. You can discuss different things, and it allows for fans to know that footballers are human, which is great. But it allows the footballers and everyone to have that human moment as well, that kind of like, you know what, I can do everything what everyone else is doing. I don't have to feel like I'm some sort of alien or detached from everything. So I think those are ways, content is definitely a way that footballers can kind of get closer to fans. Because if not, to a lot of fans, it just seems like a footballer is a distant memory away. Like you just have this life and you've forgotten how it is to be over here. But through content and different means, you can change that view on that.
It's kind of weird because, like, so say when I was growing up, for me to ever bump into a footballer, like you gotta be in those zones, like those places.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta be at a football stadium. I gotta be at a football training ground there. It's like to bump into a footballer, it would be weird, you know. It'd be something like, wow, like you take a picture type of thing. Now, it's like everything's all on the internet. Everything's all in your face. Like in 2020, I thought it would have been the other way around, where you feel like you feel a bit more closer to the fans and everything like that. But it's kind of gone the other way around, like in terms of like it depends. Like as you said, there's some avenues where it's getting there, but then there's some avenues where it's just going so left. You know, and you can see the gap between fans and players and whatnot. I think one of the main things is that, you know, it's not their fault, but there's young kids online and everything like that. You know, it's new generation. They're more interested in gaming and stuff like that. Not really in terms of the actual game itself, but the gameplay of it. And, you know, how they act online, it can make you think as a player that these are actually grown men, but some of them are grown men, but actually half of them are like
14.
Little kids with football avies, you know what I mean? So when they're commenting under your picture some madness, and you think, oh, you paint everyone with the same brush, but it's not like that, you know what I mean? You walk out on the street, and people actually said this to me who are in this kind of, you know, on that level of getting hate mail and whatever online. They said, like, sometimes they feel paranoid because they step out on the street and it's like, wow, I've just had all this stuff pop up on my phone about me and like how bad of a game I had and like how shit I am and everything. And then I go out on the street and like I don't get the same reception. So you get what I'm trying to say? It's just, you know what I mean? So all of that trolling and everything, I think that's the main thing to do with it, which is like distant. What do you think?
Here at 3258, we're proud to present you with the best football-specific content. We work with many companies and many ballers to give you, the viewers, the best content possible. You, the viewer, we're always looking to help you improve your skill set. In order for you to improve your skill set and for us to keep making these videos, please click the link down below and buy some equipment. The equipment helps us run this channel, and also you subscribing to the channel helps us producing more of these videos to help you with your skill set and your knowledge of the game. Thank you for supporting 3258.
Yes, trolling culture has definitely caused a lot of friction between fans. Like, I've seen so many cases. I saw a case a few months ago, and it was a Manchester United youngster who quit football because of the backlash he kept going. And because it's social media and it's so accessible now, all of that stuff comes direct straight to you. Like, a while ago, like, social media wasn't a big thing. So you only get abuse either in the stadium or if you're out and about and they see you. Now you're getting stadium, out and about, and everything direct to your phone. You could be with, like, let's say your like footballer has a daughter, they're with their daughter, you're scrolling through the phone, you're reading abuse whilst you're with your family. I think that how it's become so easy to become accessible to footballers, that it's actually become so easy to do that as well. I've seen Tammy Abraham get abused for missing penalties in the Super Cup. And it's like, footballers can see this. I do think footballers are affected a lot by social media as well. Like, there's no way footballers don't read this stuff.
Some are 100%. Some are 100%. I can firsthand say that, but they just get on with it, type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it is unfortunate because, again, the quotation mark normal man doesn't live in a world where they're at work, they're doing their day job, and then they're just getting abuse online. It's not the reality of the normal man. And if we mention all the factors that we said it takes to become a professional footballer, and for that to happen, for some people it happens when they've been good, when they've been bad, when they've been in the middle, they just constantly get that. And
that's obviously, yeah.
Even if you try and run away, it's like, oh, he's running away from it. It is negative, and I hope that whole culture disappears from football. It's not proactive in any way, shape, or form. If anyway, it could be taken away from the sport. Imagine that's happening to all of your 11 players, and then they go out on a Sunday and they lose. Well, you've kind of been at fault for that because their mindset is not in the right place. So hopefully that can change. It actually winds me back to the Eric Dyer incident we was talking about on the documentary, where he's seen his brother get heckled by other fans, and they're heckling his brother because of his performance, and he's gone up there to defend his brother. For me, that's powerful because it's like, yeah, don't get this twisted. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, I'm a footballer and everything, but there's lines that can be crossed here that shouldn't be crossed. Don't start going at my family because of my performances.
No, he probably thought in that moment, he probably thought, like, heckle me, I can deal with it. Like,
yeah,
type of thing, you know what I mean? Like, my family never asked for this.
Exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say? They're like, and the way I see it is so different to like someone watching this, that they might see it, like, if that makes sense. Like, say for example, my son, like it would be crazy to start shouting at him, for example. Like, it's the same boat. Like, you never asked for this. Like,
he has nothing to do with this.
Nothing to do with this. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? There's nothing. It's just guilty by association type of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the reasons why I don't put none of my family members online or anything like that. Because, listen, my fan base, who I've played for and whatnot, they've been respectable, and not really too much hate mail or nothing like that. But just being someone on social media where they see that, I'm no one at the end of the day, but they see to them, I'm someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for that reason, I could comment on their picture and then all these comments, you get what I'm trying to say? So and they'll go into your profile, start commenting on your pictures and whatnot, and that's dangerous, because then if my missus was to see that and they start commenting on the picture about my missus, now she's affected. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, so it's just a cycle that needs to change.
It's difficult, man. It's difficult, and like, I say all the time, footballers shouldn't feel like they're just kind of under the knife of public and everything. Don't get me wrong, they perform in the public, yes, but they're humans. They've got human rights as well. Like, I just feel like we can just be so much better. And it's the media as well, like the demonizing of certain footballers and everything. And it's like, listen, this guy has a family. Like, you're around all this stuff. His family has to read that. Like, it's out there for no reason as well. I think a lot of it is nasty, but just have to be prayerful and fingers crossed that the game can use all of these things, but for the good, and not for sort of just toxic behavior, I guess.
Yeah, 100%, man. Brushing all of that to the side. Thanks for coming on. Top 4 predictions. Who you got? Top 4 predictions.
Appreciate it for me having me on, man. Top 4, I will go Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Tottenham.
Not sure about the Chelsea pick. Not sure about that one.
I feel we'll be there. I think the quality will take us there. The United one's interesting for me, purely because I don't feel like United didn't have the window they wanted to have, but signing Cavani, no matter what anyone thinks, is a good signing. Like, that's a proven goal scorer. You've got a left back. You don't like the midfield options and everything, but it's still functional. Yes, you haven't brought a right winger in. It's still functional. The centre backs, not so quite functional. The right back, like, he doesn't give you what you need offensively, but he can defend. Like, there's parts of it missing, but it's not a bad window. I think where they will struggle is a lot of Ole's stuff is, I've got better players than some teams in the Premier League, but those teams can coach. So when then teams out-coach your better players' performances, they will win. Now, take it to the Champions League where there's going to be better players and better coaches, it doesn't look good at all, because how are you going to psych up your players to beat a better coach system and players that are probably better than your players? It looks very long. So, yeah, I think for United, it's just going to be about how many rough patches they can avoid. If they can avoid rough patches, I would expect them to be in the top 4. With Spurs, the signings made and everything, with Jose speaking about mentality, I feel like it's top 4 or nothing. They have to get top 4 and try and get a trophy. With Lampard, I think, based on the fact that our squad is better than last year, that will just give us that natural edge and push from where we were last year. I still have my questions about what he's trying to implement, but I think the natural ability there will maybe be able to carry us through to get top 4.
I agree, and your top 4 is somewhat of what I would probably pick, but I would only say Chelsea is a grey area because pressure, it does make diamonds, but pressure is a big thing when, you got a young manager, young players, how many winners are in that team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you got to ask yourself that question. So how do these new signings deal with all that pressure and gel together? Me personally, if I'm looking at teams right now, I know it's early, but if they don't get any injuries, I'm putting Everton there.
Yeah, so Everton one's interesting me because great manager, great signings, started well, they set the standard. But one thing I know is that Ancelotti teams typically after December go through a phase where the form dips a little bit. So that's 1. 2, injuries as well. Like, they've got a decent bench, but if they get injuries, it can look a bit shaky. And I think the third one for me is with James at the moment. This is no disrespect to the Everton players, because Everton have got some amazing players in the Premier League. But signing someone like James it reminds me of, in some situations when you're having a kick about something and the one professional footballer comes, or the one academy player when everyone's just normal player comes, the difference and gulf that it is so mad, and he brings the quality up. They play better because he's there and everything, but it can very easily become hero ball, where it's like, oh, we need you to unlock us. It's what Chelsea suffered when we had Hazard in that last season. It's kind of like, we had some good players, but it's like, oh, Hazard, please save us. Please, like, listen, we can't do it, save us. That becomes very difficult, and the sustainability of that, if that does happen, is questionable. But based on how they're going, I mean, if Richarlison gets in the goals as well, which he should be because he's warming up, Calvert-Lewin's killing it, James is just a freak. They could be big, yeah. Alan Decorian just look like they work together really well. Digne is a good left back. Coleman's restoring the feeling at right back. Their centre backs I question a lot, but
Keane stepped up.
Okay. Yeah, for me the issue is that goalkeeper, and I know they brought one on loan, but Pickford is a big issue for me, because if your back four is not confident in you, there's no point. There's actually no point in football. That's what crippled Chelsea last season. If your back four is not confident in you,
I think what you just mentioned, there's similar comparisons in Chelsea and Everton in terms of their goalkeeper and in terms of you said hero ball. But at the end of the day, Chelsea did get in that top four. So I feel like Everton, they do have the ingredients as well. So they're very similar. If I was to bring on another guest, who you know for supporter section or whatever, who do you think I should bring on?
Good question. Good question. Both the stoppage time boys will be really good because everyone's got a different perspective on ball. So Cameron Shred would be sick. Who else to bring on supporter section? It would be really interesting to see someone who's slightly older's perspective on things because they would have seen different generations of ball. So maybe not a Robbie per se, but like even if it was someone that was like a DT or someone like that, where their mentality of football is so different because they've seen football transition. I've seen football transition, but I'm part of it. You've got these people that have seen football transition multiple times. So seeing what their perception on it is being, they've seen different crops of footballers come and go, and what they feel about football would be proper interesting because, I'm talking from a perspective where I've seen my idols, but a lot of people are my age and I know them and understand. Like those guys that are like 30 plus now are seeing these youngsters come in. They've seen social media change in their lifetime. They've had to adapt to social media. They've gone from a time where football's probably on a couple of channels, now football's available everywhere. Like how football and their relationships are with actual footballers would be quite interesting.
Yeah, no. I hear that. You know, something I'll probably be looking at in the near future. Plug yourself down in the description, all your social medias and all of that.
Make sure you're following Stoppage Time TV. Make sure you're subscribed. You've got notifications switched on for that. For the visuals of Stoppage Time, that's Threesixtytv on YouTube. My personal stuff is Mayowa Quadri _, which is my name. So that's my Twitter, that's my Instagram. Follow Versus as well for your home of football and culture divulgence as well. And yeah, all of my stuff is on my personal anyway, so make sure you hit that up. I've got some decent stuff coming as well, so yeah.
Cool, man. I'm sick and tired of bringing on guys in support section who know all, so I actually might next time bring on someone who's actually a fan, who's just, you know, they don't know no footballers. They don't study the game like you do. So that would be an interesting conversation maybe next time for me to have a conversation with a fan where, you know, they give their players a lot of stick. You know, that would be an interesting conversation to try to bridge.
It'll be interesting to see like an old school, like terrace fan who all they did was grow up in the terraces watching the game. And now there's a social media element which they hate. It's like, why is there social media in the game? We should be back in the stadiums. That sort of fan would be a sick fan to see because, they may have not come across at the time which is going on now. So, No.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate
love for having me, bro, man. It's good to chat out, man, and keep doing this, man. That this stuff is amazing still.
No, I appreciate it, man. Just trying to bridge that gap, trying to create a different culture of football and whatnot, and you know, give back to the people who support me and whatnot. So I appreciate that, man. 3258 signing out.
For more content like this, like, share, and subscribe.